Hi, my name is Tyler Jack. I'm the CEO of Sunlink Energy, and today we're going to discuss Arizona utility company rate plans. All right, a brief overview while we're getting started is grid-tied solar over here on the right side. As you can see the little diagram, it gets energy from the sun plus the utility company. And that's usually from coal, natural gas, hydroelectric, or a few other types. The distance from the source is about 20 feet directly over your head versus long transmission lines spanning 50 to 250 miles. The average cost for grid-tied solar financed is 7 to 11 cents per kilowatt hour, where the average cost for utility on peak is 20 to 25 cents. And then there is, of course, zero annual increase if you have a loan on your solar system versus 4% annually from the utility company. So distributed energy resource or DER export programs. This is what we're calling a grid-tied system that sells energy back to the grid and also can buy energy from the grid when solar is not sufficient. So how it works, use solar to offset your peak demand hours, so it kind of covers that base load, and then export any unused energy to the grid for a bill credit. They usually sum those up about once a month. Why are they beneficial? Well, the offset, you can offset the base load of your electrical consumption during the day, as we previously discussed. Use those negative bill credits to purchase energy at night when the sun is not out, and then sell the overproduction instead of your modules being idle, which is great. It's much better than having the modules not being grid tied because you can get some extra production out of them and get some money back for that. Eliminate or lessen your electrical utility bill, of course, and then lessen the strain on your communal utility grid, which in turn drives down the price. So APS is the largest energy provider here in the Phoenix metro area. So we're going to start with them. This is the APS buyback. They are not net metering. So if anyone says, have you heard of APS's net metering program? No, net metering is a one-for-one exchange. APS does not have that. The buyback rate is more than the solar rate, yes. And then the target offset is 125%. That's kind of what we're shooting for, what we're recommending. The post-solar utility plan is called Saver's Choice. Some people might be familiar with that. Saver's Choice is also a pre-solar utility plan. The on-peak is 24 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 3 to 8 Monday through Friday. And the off-peak is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. That's all other times. The winter super off-peak is 3 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 10 to 3 on weekdays, only in November through April. And then there is a base service charge per day at 43 cents. And the export is 9 cents, or technically 9.5 cents per kilowatt hour back to the grid. As you see on the top right, the optimal module locations we have highlighted. This is our recommendation, is west and south primarily. Obviously, our goal is to offset that 3 to 8 window. The solar system requirements from APS, the max system size for a 200 amp panel is 15 kilowatts or just under. For a 400 amp panel, it's 30 kilowatts, and for a 600 amp residential panel, it's 45 kilowatts, just under those. And then the max offset is 150% of peak demand over the last 12 months. And you can also, for special exemptions, do a load calc determining all of the different loads that are connected to the meter and their maximum output to justify a larger size system if needed. SRP buyback. SRP is the second largest utility provider here in Phoenix. They do not have a net metering program. Their buyback rate is not more than the solar rate. We'll cover more of that in a minute. And the target offset is 60% on what we're recommending for the annual kilowatt hour usage. Post-solar utility rate plan is called E13. That's what we're recommending. There is a demand plan called E27, which people use a lot, but we're not recommending it unless you have a load controller or a battery. And we'll kind of go into why here on these breakdowns. So the winter utility plan, or the winter tier, is November through April. The on-peak is 10 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 5 to 9 a.m. and 5 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. So right when the sun is rising and right when the sun is setting. The off-peak is 7 cents per kilowatt hour. That's all other times plus weekends. The service charge for a 200 amp panel is $32.44 a month, and a 400 amp panel is $45.44 per month. That's the base service charge. And then the export rate is 3 cents per kilowatt hour, so 2.81 technically, but we've rounded up to 3. So as you can see on that 7 to 11 cents for the typical solar rate for a finance system, this is definitely less than that. So we don't want to sell back to the grid unless we can really help it. The summer, which is May, June, September, and October, missing July and August. The on peak is 21 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 2 to 8 Monday through Friday, stays the same. Off peak is 7 cents. That's all other times, including weekends. And the service charge and export is the same. The summer peak, which is July and August, when energy is most expensive in Phoenix, on peak is 24 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 2 to 8 Monday through Friday. Off peak, 7 cents all other times. And then the service charge and export are the same. SRP does not have any base system requirements, at least none noteworthy for this presentation. The optimum module location that we have highlighted for the roof is west and east, and we're recommending about 80 to 90% of all of your modules located on the west slope and about 10 to 20% on the east slope. The reason being is that we want to offset a little bit of that winter peak hours, which is 5 to 9 and 5 to 9. So we're kind of catching that AM sun right when the sun is coming up. And then we're really getting a lot of it going down, which also makes sense during the summer and the summer peak and that 2 to 8 window. TEP, Tucson Electric Power. They do not have a net metering program. The buyback rate is more than the solar rate, yes, but barely. And then the target offset is 125%. Post-solar rate plan is time of use. The summer, May through September, this is a demand per month, so how much energy you're using per month, and it has some different tiers here, so we'll dive into that. The on-peak hours are 3 to 7 Monday through Friday. 0 to 500 kilowatt hours is 14 cents per kilowatt hour. 501 to 1,000 is 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and 1,000 plus is about 16 cents per kilowatt hour. These numbers are rounded and kind of added together to make it easier to view. The off-peak is all other times plus weekends, and that 0 to 500 is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. That 501 to 1,000 is 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and that 1,000 plus stays at about 12 cents per kilowatt hour. There is a base service charge per month, and that's $15, and then the export is right around 8 cents, so it hovers just right around there. I think we rounded that one down. The winter, which is October through April, demand per month on that tiered structure is the on-peak is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, so very similar to SRP in the winter. 0 to 500 is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. 501 to 1,000 is 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and 1,000 plus is 13 cents per kilowatt hour. Off-peak, which is all other times plus weekends, is 0 to 500 is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. 501 to 1,000 is 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and 1,000 plus stays at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Service charge and export are exactly the same. The solar system requirements is 125% of connected load, so they will do that load calc, and they will warranty that. They will warrant that. The optimal module locations that we have selected for TEP is west and east, so very similar to SRP, is stacking about 80 to 90% of your modules on the west and 10 to 20% on the east to help offset that winter on-peak usage. 82, so Electrical District 2 buyback. They do not have a net metering program. Their buyback rate is not more than the solar rate, and the target offset is about 60%, so very similar to SRP. Post-solar utility plan is schedule number 5S, that stands for schedule number 5 solar. The demand plan is, they only have a demand plan for post-solar customers. That is 0 to 500 kilowatt hours is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. 501 plus kilowatt hours per month is 10 cents per kilowatt hour. The service charge is $15 a month, and the export is hovering right around 4 cents per kilowatt hour. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to sell back to the grid in this scenario. Solar system requirements, max system size is 10 kilowatts. We are recommending west and south orientation for your modules, simply due to the primary times of day people are typically using a lot of energy, which is when their ACs are kicking on when they're home from work. 83 buyback. They do not have a net metering program. Their buyback rate is not more than the solar rate, and the target offset is 60%. So very similar to 82. Post-solar utility rate plan is rate number 01. The demand is 0 to 500 is 9 cents per kilowatt hour. 501 plus is 9 cents per kilowatt hour still. Service charge is $11.86 per month, and the export is right around 4 cents per kilowatt hour. System requirements are the same at 10 kilowatts, and the optimal module location is the same as west and south. So that pretty much concludes everything that we have here for the major utility companies that we're working with kind of in the Phoenix metro area and Tucson area. I hope this was useful, and more videos to follow on more utility companies. So thanks for tuning in.